أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today we will continue where we left off last week, where we were in the 100th Surah Al-Adiyah, and we had left off at the 7th or 6th ayat. So I'll just read from the 7th ayat. إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير. Verse 7, where we left off. إن الإنسان لربه لكنود. Surely man is ungrateful to his Lord. Assurément, l'homme est ingrat envers son Seigneur. Inna is surely, assurément. Al-insan, the man or man. L'homme, li, for or pour. Rabbi, Lord or Seigneur. He is his or son. La is surely or sûrement. So this is a little bit different here. You have a kasra for in the first place. The lam with kasra is translated as for or pour, and you have it with fatha, lam with fatha, and it's translated as surely, sûrement. And the last word is kanudu or kanud, ungrateful or ingrat. Surely man is ungrateful to his Lord. Hazrat Muslim Maud has noted in their important words, kanud or kanudu, ungrateful, and he says that it is derived from kaf nun dal. Kanudu means ungrateful man or woman, an unbeliever, a blamer of his Lord, who remembers misfortunes and forgets favors. Rebellious, niggardly, or that it means stingy, avaricious, which is this means one whose extreme greed has extreme greed for wealth and material gain, who eats alone and beats his slaves. Ard Kanud means land that produces nothing. And the Hazrat Muslim Maud commenting on this verse, he says the reference in the verse is to the arrogant, base, and miserly disbeliever who is also a coward. He is cruel towards the weak and does not feed the poor. So prior to this, in the verse just before that, verse 6, just to refresh the memory, that the Holy Quran said here, "Fawa satna bihi jama'a," that and penetrating thereby into the center of the enemy forces. So there was a succession of verses before this which were talking about how the Muslims were going to wage a battle, and they were going to wage a strike a battle swiftly. And on that battle, they would be riding in with horses. And then now it changes to the in this surah talking about the condition of ungrateful man, and the description we just went through. And in the next verse, verse 8, it says, وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ. And surely he bears witness to it by his conduct that et sûrement il en est témoin. So here the first word is va, it's translated and en français, et inna. Surely you'll see that we keep going through many verses, many words that are recurring in many of the ayats in the Holy Quran, sûrement. And who here is he or il, ala, to or en, zalika, that or que, la, again, sûrement or surely, shahid, witness, témoin. This is also the also this in other places of the Holy Quran. Shahid is also translated as the martyrs, those who fight in the battle and they die in battle, or they die in the cause of Allah. Here in the commentary, Hazrat Muslim Anhu said that such a one indulges not only in the evils mentioned in the preceding verse, but also takes pride in doing so. So, a person who is extremely indulgent in with his wealth, and as it's mentioned that he is very stingy, and also under the important word, it mentions a person who beats his slaves. So this means kanudu. This is a very not just doesn't have the connotation when we use in the English language of someone who is ungrateful. A person can be ungrateful, but their behavior is just that they don't mind, or they don't get involved. They don't bother anyone, and they just go on with their life. But this is quite an extreme. Uh, this this word in Arabic, a person who is an unbeliever and one who mistreats others who are under them, as it is explained here, that it's person who is rebellious and also beats his slaves. And in the world today, we are still facing such problems. Where in America, the Black Lives Matter, and we find that the because of the cruelty that the slave masters had on the blacks when they were slaves, they can still not overcome that, and still they are being mistreated and being suppressed, even though they're not slaves. But we won't go into detail. The next verse from the Holy Quran, from this ayat, is وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. And surely in his love of wealth he is violent. Et sûrement il est tellement amoureux et de la richesse. Wa is and or a. Inna, surely, sûrement, who, he or il, li, for or pour. Hubbi is love, amour, amoureux, and al khairi, wealth or richesse. La, surely, sûrement, shadid, témoin. And under the commentary, Hazrat Muslim Maud, he has referred to another portion of the Holy Quran where he comments on a similar um, type of person uh, who is hoards wealth. And he says that taken along with the preceding three verses, the verse under comment drives home to the hoarders of wealth the evils of hoarding, and says to them, in effect, you have been given wealth in abundance, not as of right or as the result of superior intellect. You should not therefore feel injured or humiliated when you are deprived of it. It is given to you that you should spend it to meet the needs of the orphans and the poor, but you squander it in immoral pursuits, depriving others of their rights in it, or else you hoard it and refuse to spend it in noble causes. In fact, inordinate love of money leads to three inevitable results. A, it creates in man an excessive desire to keep on adding to his wealth without spending it on good causes or on meeting the needs of the orphans and the poor. This is one of the superiority complexes that the people who hold power and who hold power in the world today. And if we give reference to the slaves that the the whites who hold power in America, those who are the white supremacist movements, they clearly explain, and even you can see further back in documentaries about the same fact that the people who have the wealth and they have it over their slaves or over people who are poorer than them, they think that somehow they have a superior intellect, and that and it proves to that they are superior because they have all the wealth. But Allah here is explaining, or the promised Messiah, the Hazrat Muslim is explaining here the verse that the one who is given wealth is not because of any superiority. It's so that you can use it to help the society. And then the other point is that B, it makes him careless about whether he acquires wealth by fair or by dishonest means. C, in time of national peril, fear of possible success of the enemy renders his loyalty to his country doubtful. With the desire in such an eventuality to keep his life and property safe, he does not take an active part in his country's defense. These are the main causes that lead to the destruction of a people. Islam takes as much care of the moral health of society as it takes of that of the individual, and society's health requires that material goods be widely distributed and wealth kept in easy circulation. And the next verse, أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُؤْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. Does not such a one know that when those in the graves are raised, on tel ne sait-il pas que lorsque ceux qui sont dans les tombes sont élevés. Afala is here translated does not or ne sait pas. Ya'lamu, this is know or savoir. Iza, when or lost. Bu'thira, raised or élevé. Ma, that or ce qui. Fi, in or dans. Al-Qubur, that is the graves or les tombes. Under the commentary, the Hazrat Muslim said that the verse means that there is no life left in the disbelievers. They seem to be lying dead in their graves, their houses, but soon they will rise in opposition to Islam and will march many miles to attack the Holy Prophet in Medina. So here the description they're describing here about a type of people that the Muslims are coming to battle with, and in the future, and that they are also going to raise up in the future against the Muslims. The next verse, it says, وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ, and that which is hidden in the breast is brought forth. et ce qui est dans le poitrain est produit. وحصل and et حصل brought forth or produit ma that ce qui fi in dans الصدور breast or les poitrines. Here, Hazrat Muslim anhu has pointed out the important word in this verse, hustila, which is translated as brought forth. He says that it is the transitive form of hasala, which means it became apparent, it became into existence, it became realized, it came to pass. Hasala means he produced, retracted, or fetched out. He made a thing apparent. He prepared, he separated, discriminated, or distinguished. He perceived a thing, he obtained or attained it. He acquired it, he collected. And under the commentary, the Muslim says that the evil designs of the enemies of Islam will come to light. So they will, Muslims will know about the plans that the enemy have against them. And in the final verse, this is verse 12 from the surah, إِنَّ رَبَّكُمْ بِهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَخَبِيرٌ. Surely their Lord will on that day be fully aware of them. Sûrement le Seigneur ce jour-là sera très conscient de tout ce qui les concerne. Inna is translated as surely or sûrement. Rabba is Lord or Seigneur. Hum is there or leur. Be for or for him, them, les. Yoma, day or jour. Even that or ce. La is well or très. Khabir or khabirun, aware or conscient. Hazrat Muslim says that God is well aware of their evil designs and He will punish them for their evil actions. That finishes this part 2. And now I will go to the next part 3. So part 3 is the 101 Surah, Al-Qari'ah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. القارعة القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة. In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful, au nom d'Allah, le Gracieux, le Miséricordieux, the great calamity, le grand calamité. What is the great calamity? Quelle est la grande calamité? And what should make thee know what the great calamity is? Est-ce que qui devrait te faire savoir ce qu'est la grande calamité? So these are verses 1 to 4. Because of time, we'll just have to cover that. For today, these first 4. The introduction of the surah is it's mentioned that It was revealed early at Mecca. All commentators agree on this point. Mosaic and Muir too subscribe to this view. The surah, like Surah Zilzal, primarily gives a brief but lucid description of the tremendous convulsions and catastrophic upheavals that will shake the foundations of the world in the time of the promised Messiah, while the immediately preceding surah has dealt with the great fight that the companions of the Holy Prophet put up against the forces of darkness. The surah may equally apply to the Day of Judgment, in comparison to which there could be no greater calamity. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful, au nom d'Allah, le Gracieux, le Miséricordieux. Be with, O Ism, name or nom. Allah is just Allah, translated the same. Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman is gracious, le gracieux. Ar-Rahim, merciful, le miséricordieux. As I mentioned before, I will give some every surah just a little bit more about Bismillah, which will benefit us from the commentary of Hazrat Muslim Maud. So he says in the second point that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam attached great importance to the verse Bismillah. Uh, he is reported to have said that any important work which is done without reciting Bismillah is apt to prove devoid of God's blessing. Thus, it is a general practice among Muslims to commence every work with the recital of this prayer. Number three, the place of this verse in the beginning of every chapter has the following significance. 1. The Quran is a treasure of divine knowledge to which access cannot be had without the special favor of God. In chapter 56, verse 80, God says regarding the Quran, none shall touch it except those who are purified, meaning that except the favored ones who have been purified by the hand of God, none shall grasp the deeper meaning of the Quran. Thus, Bismillah has been placed at the beginning of each chapter to remind the reader that in order to have access to and benefit from the treasures of divine knowledge contained in the Quran, he should not only approach it with pure motives, but also constantly invoke the help of God and try to lead a righteous life. Verse 2, Al-Qari'ah, Al-Qari'atu, there is the great calamity, La Grande Calamité. So it just, as it is, this is one combined word which we have here in the second ayat. Here, Hazrat Muslim Maud is broken down, and he said that Al-Qariya, the great calamity, is derived from Qara'an. Qariya means a great and sudden calamity. The day of resurrection, and also an army marching forth and striking the enemy suddenly. The particle al particularizes Qariya or calamity and imparts to it a special significance. Al-Qariya thus means a great calamity, the promised calamity, or the day of judgment. So it can mean these two have these various meanings. Then in the next verse, it says Mal Qari'ah. So here the only difference is that we have Ma, but we have the same as the verse before, Al Qari'ah. What is, and here is Ma is what, so it would read, what is the great calamity, or what, or quelle est la grande calamité. As a Muslim who gives an explanation of the words under the commentary, saying whereas the particle al added to Qariya has particularized the calamity and heightened its dreadfulness, the addition of the particle ma, or what, makes it still more severe and destructive. So emphasizing the severity of it with ma, or what. And then in the fourth ayat, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ, and what should make thee know what the great calamity is? Est-ce que, et qu'est-ce qui devrait te faire savoir ce qu'est la grande calamité? So here, they're mostly, we are starting to, if we're going through this, we must be knowing many of the words now. Was and a, ma, what, est-ce que, adra, here's a new word, make known, know, or make it known. Faire savoir, ka is you or vous, ma, what, quel, al-qaria, the great calamity, la grande calamité. So here, Hazrat Muslim has said that the calamity would be so catastrophic that it is impossible to conceive of its dreadfulness, much less to describe it in words. And he also says, if we look under verse 2 and 5 of Surah 69, where an identical expression to produce an analogous effect has been used. Qarya, besides a great calamity, signifies punishment that comes suddenly. So here in these first four ayats, or three ayats, we learn about the meaning of Qarya. For today, I covered up into the fourth verse from this surah, and I just want to say I have a couple of minutes left. I just would like to show, because I want to let some people know if they want to have access to this. The slides that I have, I will give access to those if anyone would like. But I want to show a resource that is easily available. And the first one is a split word translation of the Holy Quran, the entire Quran. It's in 30 parts. And this is found on, this is, well, actually both here. This is found also, these are both found on alislam.org. The Holy Quran, part 30. This is the part, actually, I found this week, and I'm using it as a reference. And it's something good if we ourselves, anyone would like to use it. It was very helpful. You can just write in split word translation of the Holy Quran if you go on Google, or you just check it in um, alislam.org. You can see here how it breaks up. So this is just those who need English, so Arabic to English. So it has the entire. You can follow along where we are at. Um, and there's another resource that is very useful. So here you can read here. It says the split word translation English. So if you just Google it, you'll find it. You can download it. It's a very nice resource. We're currently on part 30 at the last part. The other resource is also very good. This is for English and Urdu, and it covers the very important words that come up in the ayats. And we are now in this book compilation of the split word, which is split word Urdu English, or Urdu to English. We are on page 333, and you can see here Al-Qariya, Al-Adiya. So you can see here we have the explanation in of the important words from these surahs, which are in English and in Urdu. So if anyone would like, I'll just go up and show you it's कुरान करीम के मुश्किल अल्फाज के मानी Urdu or Angrezi. So it's the meaning of difficult words of the Holy Quran in Urdu and English. So this can also be got. You can also download this. It's just one file, PDF file. You can and then you can go to page 333 and follow along if you need the Urdu as well. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.